Hello, this is Greg Galson, Green Greg. It's coming to you on 8 May 22. Time on deck is 1500 hours Central Daylight Time. The time I post this, it will be 9 May, most likely, the day of the victory parade of Russia. So, my friends, the United States, the West, we seem to be slipping into World War III. The kind of things we're taking, the actions we're taking, the things that have been done and said has got us on the slippery slope. Will it lead to World War III? I hope not. But the probability is getting a lot higher. The risks are escalating very fast. Why? Well, as you may know, it has come out that the United States has played an instrumental role in the assassination of scads of Russian generals, colonels, the sinking of the Russian Black Sea flagship, the Moskva, and perhaps behind a big upsurge of explosions within Russia itself. Not to mention the fact that President Biden has just pledged $33 billion in military aid, to Ukraine. And the loose lips of the likes of the Secretary of Defense, who has actually stated, Lloyd Austin, who's actually stated that the goal of the United States is to weaken Russia to the point that they cannot threaten any neighbors any further. These are the kind of things that really could touch Russia off. My friends, I'll bring you this message, just part of my eyes wide open and head on a swivel series. We're in risky times. If you aren't buying that, then I don't know where your head's been lately. It's easy to forget about these things, to dismiss them, because this thing has been escalating slowly, but it is still escalating. It's like a smoldering fuse. You need to be heading toward a bomb, a powder keg. So we need to be very aware right now, more than ever. Let's hope that this thing fizzles out, but we're going to go into why I have my doubt on that coming out. So please subscribe to my channel, bang the notification bell, and click all so you can get more videos that I put out here about the perils our world's in, the things that you need to be aware of to prepare, to get your family ready, your friends, so that maybe we survive these things coming at us. It is not pretty. Subscribe. I have also many videos on other things that you need to know right now more than anything, like growing a garden. Very important prepper information. A lot of people seem to neglect. Saving seeds. You need to be doing that, my friends. Or buying seeds. Check out my links to Trillium Market. Mostly right now, my friends, I'd be concerned with other threats going on, like the threats of the availability of food, the pricing of food. And if we're in a food shortage, the fact that they may come around knocking on doors, collecting stuff that people have. You really need to be able to hide some of your food supplies. And the best way to have long-term food storage that you can hide or bug out with is to have freeze-dried food like comes from prepwithgreg.com. Right now, believe it or not, we still have at prepwithgreg.com through My Patriot Supply the 3-month special where you get 6 of these buckets for $150 off. The 4-week special is now $30 off. With the prices going up the way they are and availability is going, I'm really surprised Trillium Market is able to maintain this, but they still have simply the world's greatest supply of long-term food storage. And you get that by going to prepwithgreg.com. That's where the special is. It helps me and it helps you go there. What is that? You get 6 of these buckets, 2,000 calories a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A deal that'll make you a winner. The competitors just have nothing to compare with, and often their so-called daily rations is 800 calories, which is below starvation. My friend, this will get you through, and the times that are coming, which will be pretty blue. So check it out. It's an investment, given the way food prices are going up. So consider that, my friends. But also, buy the dry beans, the rice, canned food, do whatever you can. I encourage that very much. Save seeds. But the long-term food storage, 25-year lasting food is quite a bargain. So check that out, prepwithgreg.com. Enough said on that. We're going to go back to this. So they're having a victory event today. By the time you're watching this, most likely we'll know what Putin is really going to do, how he's going to respond. Some people think he will declare a full-blown war like everything they've been doing. The special operations is not a war. On Ukraine, some of you think that ought to happen. Whatever you think, the United States and Ukraine, NATO, excuse me, the United States and Russia, or NATO and Russia, are at loggerheads in a situation that could lead to war. It could lead to things happening right here. And maybe the first thing that might happen is we might get our power grid down. What would Putin do? Now, there's been a lot of speculation that he might use a thermonuclear device, maybe even on the 9th. I'm not saying he will. We're going to know the answer to that very soon. Some people think he will double down the war. Here's the thing that I keep telling you guys about dictators, and I've been saying this for over 2 years. They have to be a strong person to stay in power. Once they're perceived weak, once there's chinks in their armor, once they start going down, they're taken out. And very, very few of them ever survive being taken out. That is usually means their demise. So Putin considers this something he has to win. But you know, there's this psychological thing within sectors of the Russian powers that be, as I explained in a previous video on this, that really believe that Russia has to go out to the Caucasus Mountains and stop all the gaps for their survival. They feel threatened by NATO. I don't know, where would we want to invade them, and the guys in Europe invade them? Like I said, Europe can't even defend itself. They rely on Americans. And quite frankly, I got grave doubts anybody really wants to invade Russia, except maybe China. Russia should ally with us to protect themselves against China. But we have rattled the sabers, and we've had so many people from over here poking the bear, thanks to Hillary and Biden and some of them, that the bear feels very threatened by us more so than China. Very bad foreign policy on our part. But no matter what, we are now at loggerheads with Russia, and Russia's got more nukes than any nation on earth. Now, as we know, President of Russia, Putin, put these nukes under special alert at the very beginning outset of the special operation on the nation that rhymes with Nick Pyne. I shouldn't say the name of it too often. I might get this video slapped on this platform. So some of those, some other channels have been very careful with their language. Maybe I'm not so much so here lately. So I got to be careful here. But in any event, my friends, bear in mind that he thinks he's got to win, or he needs a decent off-ramp. So he's coming into this day where he was expecting a major victory to celebrate without it. How's he going to compensate for that? You know, they took their forces that were going into Kyiv out from around Kyiv because they thought that they could reconcentrate and take Donbass. It's not happened. It's not happened. In fact, the Ukrainians have taken back some territory. So it's not going on the surface, as far as we can see, exactly according to plan. Of course, Putin said it is proceeding according to plan. As I said, at the very minimum, they would like to take southern Ukraine all the way to Transnistria, you know, the breakaway pro-Russian parts of Moldova, and go on into Moldova. They use that as an excuse to get up to the Carpathian Mountains, which is something I've explained to you. That's what they really would like to do at a bare minimum, to declare some modicum of victory. I don't know that they'll actually be able to seize Odessa. They've had so much trouble with Mariupol. We shall see. But Russia has somewhat held back. How much have they held back? How much of them going forward could they really make happen? You know, they put 200,000 troops into this conflict, which is, you know, less than 800,000 troops available. But on the other hand, they've lost quite a few of them, but nowhere near as many as Russia's lost in previous wars and battles with Kyiv and places like that. You know, look, guys, Russia, like I said, they're worried about the West coming in because Russia lost 27 million people in World War II to the Germans, to the Nazis. So anything they say it's anti-Nazi gets their people motivated, shall I say. 27 million. That is a major proportion of their population. If that was claimed to be the Russian, the loss of the Soviet Union. Bear in mind, though, that the population of the Soviet Union in 1940 was on the order of 194 million. So that would have been about 14% of the population of the Soviet Union in one war. But really and truly, since the fighting was actually in Russia, the chances are these weren't just people from all over the Soviet Union. It was actually Russians. The Russian population in 1940, right at the beginning of World War II, was 110 million. So if most of those casualties, most of those deaths, excuse me, were Russian, you're talking 24% of the people, 24 to 25% of the Russian people. That's dead. How many were injured? That war really sticks in the mind of Russia very much today. And we've not served well by poking the bear. That's what I've been saying. And now, so they consider not having those gaps around the Carpathian Mountains and where the old Warsaw Pact used to be, as I explained in my previous video, Chink, is an existential threat, given that they perceive us to be a threat. And NATO has not helped in that regard. The current president has not helped in that regard. So I can kind of see where they're coming from, but then again, I do think they're being extraordinarily paranoid and they're looking in the wrong direction toward where the true threat is. It's too bad we weren't able to prevail upon that. But whatever the case is today, here's the situation. It has been revealed by intelligence sources that loose lips sink ships. Remember that expression? Well, people come out and said that it was our intel that led to the assassination of several Russian generals, quite a few. And it was our intel that enabled the Ukrainians to sink the Moskva, the flagship of Russia in the Black Sea. And right now, there's a huge upsurge of explosions within Russia itself at chemical plants, weapons plants, that is also being blamed on American operations, American intelligence. That is almost like direct war. Add to that we're pumping in $33 billion worth of heavier armaments, ammunitions, artillery, helicopters, and other new aids to Ukraine. Russia is taking note. Well, how will they respond? I know people says they won't respond. They can't respond. They got nothing to respond with. Russia never really totally went full into Ukraine yet. Supposedly, they had about Russia's got about 3,000 operable tanks. Now we hear 20,000 number, but that's just not right. They've actually lost about 1,000 in this conflict, but would put them down to about 2,000, which puts them on parity with what Ukraine has apparently. But Ukraine has more tanks. Bear in mind, Ukraine has more tanks than all the rest of NATO. So, and Russia probably has about 3,000 they could repair and put into service. How fast could they repair them? Will their economy falter and could they pull that off? Do they have the equipment, the parts, or the embargoes against them to pull off putting those tanks in repair? All those other 14,000 tanks that they get credited for, man, they're rust buckets are falling apart in junkyards. They're in incredibly decrepit shape. They're probably never coming back under any circumstance. Russia has a significant threat still available to use conventionally. It's been suggested they might go nuclear. Although the Pentagon actually has walked that back, so not Pentagon, the Kremlin has walked that back a little bit from Kremlin spokesman. Yet, we still hear Russian officials, Russian media talk about nuking the West, not just Ukraine, but the West, especially Great Britain of late. And Great Britain has responded by putting more warheads on their submarines. Now they're maxing them out. The warheads are putting on their submarines. So Great Britain's making that known to Russia. So, hey guys, we're maxing out. We're going to peak out our warheads. That was kind of an odd thing. You thought they would already had maximum capability on our subs, but apparently not. But they're making a public case out of the response here. So there is nuclear saber rattling. Oh yeah, and the Russians have also rolled out the RS-24 missile, the Yars missile, into Red Square for the preparations for this parade, and they've already done practice runs with it for their intercontinental ballistic thermonuclear missile. So they're still rattling their nuclear saber to this point. So what does it mean? I don't know, guys. I can't say. They're considering the United States a threat. Maybe they might decide to take the United States out. And if the United States went out, the rest of Europe would probably be trembling with fear if they didn't have us behind them. Because even though Europe has a ginormous population of 444 million or some odd people, a lot more than the United States, and has a similar GDP, their contribution to the forces there is very small compared to what we're bringing to the table, which makes me say, why are we there in the first place? Why isn't Europe taking care of themselves? The Europeans like to look down their bony nose of indignation at Americans and call us cowboys and act like they're superior. Yet they rely on us to save their rear ends, their derrieres. So yeah, I can live without without their little indignation. And have to ask, why aren't y'all putting it? Why are our boys over there defending you? Why is our treasury being spent to defend you? What does Europe have that America really needs? The only country in Europe that's really stood our back repeatedly over time has been Great Britain, and they're no longer part of the European Union. We got a new alliance with them called AUKUS. That's a whole nother story. So, and even there, I got a lot of questions about these alliances and about who's behind all this stuff. That's another story. That's a whole nother set of videos. But friends, we are in peril. Here's what Russia might do. The easiest thing for them to do to take the United States down would be to take out our power grid. They could do that with EMPs, high altitude HIMPs, high altitude EMPs. A nuclear device detonated over Kansas and Nebraska, a couple of 100 miles up, would do the job. They would probably use a few. And it might even, so they would have the plausible deniability that it was them that did it. They could launch it from this new Sarmat missile, which we call the Satan II, could actually launch over the South Pole. We wouldn't see them coming. Or they might launch out of Venezuela, offshore from Venezuela, where we wouldn't know who did it. Could it be China, North Korea, maybe Iran, or Russia? Or maybe Iran might, if they do have a couple like I've suspected for some time, they might decide to do it because we think Russia did it. And they could get rid of the great Satan. We are at risk to have our power grid annihilated. Now, there are those that says, well, it would be an inside job. Well, an inside job probably wouldn't do an EMP. They would use a cyber attack. So they could put their control grid back up. But a high altitude electromagnetic pulse would take out their control grid too. Unless, of course, they just want to totally take out the United States. There's cowboys over here who don't want to knuckle so fast to the control of those so global. Those of us who don't like to lick the boots of Klaus Schwab. Not me. Anyway, all that said, how's this going to play out? We don't know yet. We'll know a whole lot more by the end of the 9th as to what's in Putin's mind. But then again, Putin may relinquish the keys of control temporarily because Putin apparently is going to go under surgery, or so rumors have it, for cancer. What then? What then? Some say there's a couple of people at the top that are a lot harder case than Putin. But then again, there's rumors that the oligarchs don't like where Putin's going. Some of the generals don't like it, and they wouldn't, at least according to people on our side, they wouldn't actually follow through with orders to launch. Really, maybe not. But what's all this boil down to? Russian roulette. Really, true Russian roulette. We just don't know. There's rounds in the chambers, and right now they're spinning the chambers and about to pull the trigger. Is it loaded? Is it not? You see what I'm saying? We are in a risky era, dangerous era. We don't know yet how it's going to play out. Hope and pray that the nukes don't fly. That's all I can say. Just hope and pray the nukes don't fly. That's the most important thing for us. And part of that might be that we need to start hammering on the people in our government not to push things to that point. You can use the resources of Freedom Restoration Foundation.org website to contact your Congress critters and tell them what you think about that. Whatever it is, either way. So we are in a perilous point. There's no way around that. Things could get ugly. It could happen fast. That's why you need to be prepared. I don't care what side of the spectrum you fall on, whatever you believe it's left, right, up, down. We're in peril. That's the bottom line. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. Get ready. Get right with your maker. Prepare to take care of your family. And just be ready. Mentally, psychologically, spiritually, and physically. Have the goods, whatever you can get ready. Some of you don't have the economic wherewithal. Well, hopefully you can find a farmer that will let you share crop for him. But he ain't gonna have no seeds at work because all his seeds come from Montesano and now Bear mostly. So you might want to buy seeds. Check out my links to True Leaf Market also. Buy seeds. Those will be the gold when the grid goes down. Seeds and worm castings, of course. Hope you got worms. I hope to be selling them sometime in June. Whew. Guys, I don't know. I'm really, really concerned. All right, I've beat on this horse enough. We'll know tomorrow a lot more. So I'm not going to say any more now. Tomorrow will be a great reveal to see if Russia decides to expand the war, to go full in and call it a war, so a special operation, or if, I don't know, they're going to use thermonuclear weapons, or are they going to attack NATO? What are they going to do? Putin is looking for an off-ramp. To survive, he needs a way out, or he may just go full bore. I mean, that's what they would like to do, but they sure have been having a lot of troubles making progress in Ukraine so far. Does that mean they will continue to in the war of attrition? They do have more man and material supposedly, but rumor has it they're running out of ammo. Well, so might we be. So in Ukraine, if they get all the supply lines cut by the missiles, they're going to run out of ammo. Then what? Stalemate for a while, then gearing back up and pushing again. That would favor Russia. What does that mean for us? Then again, like I said, what if they roll over Europe? What does that mean for us anyway? When we lose a lot of friends, it'd be an ugly situation. But it doesn't mean the end of America. What do we get from Europe that's essential for our existence? Nothing. So why should we risk our existence for Europe? Why don't we put all our boys, why don't we put all our treasure into the preservation of Europe? When Europe should be doing it themselves. I'm not saying it shouldn't be done. I'm just asking, why us? Oh well, but that question's mute. When we're where we're at right now, the cards, the hands have been dealt and they're being played. We're being played, I guess. But this whole threat that we're in right now, it's already set. The threat is set. And the United States and Russia, NATO and Russia are like this right now. Where's it going? Oh, we'll see soon. We'll see soon enough. I hope and pray that we can find a way through this and continue. But, you know, our survival you and yours, your families, and that somehow we can dust off and pick up from this and move on. But it's not pretty. But I'll beat on it too much. Thank you everyone for watching. Take care and stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll see what happens. For that, and God bless. With that, I'm going to say thank you very much. Greg out.